Hi friends, and welcome to today's episode of Booked. I'm your host Saffron Asteria, and this is the special edition episode. This is number 1 of 2 for the Rings of Adventure Kickstarter Anthology, and I'm joined today by Dave Dobson, K.E. Andrews, and Sebastian Carlisle, who are all contributing authors to the anthology. I didn't breathe then, and I feel like I'm going to pass out. And I also forgot that I put an extra 3 seconds on that intro, and I was like, when's it going to start? Welcome to this madhouse. Thank you all for being here today. I'm very excited to dive into your stories and talk about your contribution to the anthology and to try and convince these lovely people who are watching this to back the Kickstarter. That's the goal for today. So we're here to hypnotize you into giving us money in exchange for stories, which is kind of most of the point of being a writer, I think. But without giving away more trade secrets, I'm going to go and sort of get you all to introduce yourselves. So I'm going to start with K.E. Andrews. Could you tell us a little bit about what sorts of things you write?
Yeah, so I mostly write poetry and fantasy. So I've got about 15 published works, both short stories and novels. Books. So several things of poetry. I've got short stories that range from cozy fantasy to like paranormal fantasy. There's one thriller short story, and then I have dark fantasy. I've got a cozy dark fantasy and a fantasy western, which will be in this anthology, is more horror than dark fantasy. But the goal was dark fantasy, and it leaned more horror. So that is what I write.
Sometimes it happens like that. This was the first thing of yours that I've read, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, that got very dark very quickly. And it had like a little bit of I had a similar sort of image in my head to a scene in The Scarlet Gospel by Clive Barker, because obviously, you know, I don't know how much I want to spoil, and probably none. But the vessel and the carnage, that was quite a lot, and I'm impressed because I love horror. So that was, yeah,
and I normally don't like horror. I'm scared easily, and so that was the surprise.
Well, how did you manage that? Were you like writing like this?
I think I just was in the vibes, and then at the end I was like, oh, based on people's stuff, they're like, that's pretty dark. I was like, oh, that's probably the darkest thing I've ever written.
Well, so far, anyway. Maybe you'll get the bug and you'll start writing by candlelight with blood.
It'll be cozy horror. I think I could do cozy horror, but
that's
not
fair.
Like a true. Yeah, this will be enough.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we're getting to see that from you. It's always exciting for me to see how dark people can go, if I'm being honest, because that's quite a vulnerable place to be, because if you let out too much, then people might get concerned about you as a person. So, you know, there's always a risk to writing horror. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I will come back to you and we'll talk more about your story in a second. Sebastian, could you tell us a little bit about what sorts of things you write?
I write a little bit of everything. Really doesn't matter what it is. I usually write from something that I've dreamed. So that's been what I've been rebranding myself as, because everything that I've wrote, all 32 of my open projects, has been from a very vivid dream that I've had, very lucid, vivid dream.
Oh, amazing. So you're like a dream scribe, but for yourself. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, I'm rebranding myself as the Dream Weaver.
Oh, I like that. That's better. And also, there's already a song that you can use for that by Gary something, I think. I can't remember who sings it, but yes, amazing. I do have to ask, I don't know if you heard the plane that just flew past. That was very loud. I do have to ask, have you ever been to a dream reader? I don't know what they're called. You know, the people that interpret dreams for you. Have you ever been to somebody that's like told you what things mean?
Nope.
No.
I have not. Maybe someone could read some of my short stories.
Yeah, maybe. You could go in there with a portfolio, and you could definitely use the typewriter for research.
How screwed up am I?
Only time will tell, or maybe we'll find out throughout this your story in this episode. Amazing, thank you. So last but not least, Dave, what sorts of things do you write?
Well, now I feel like I should come up with something more interesting, but I kind of write what I like to read, and so that's been mostly fantasy and sci-fi, and then some contemporary mysteries and thrillers. I've got 11 novels out. Oh, we just put out, a friend and I wrote sort of tag team romantic comedy where she wrote the female character and I wrote the male character, and they start out hating each other, and we had a lot of fun with that. So that was a new one for me.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, most of what I've written is, I guess, number-wise, is fantasy, and then a couple sci-fi. I'm working on another sci-fi now. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, I have a children's book out from a long time ago, and then lots of geological papers too, but that's not of any interest to anyone.
It might be. We don't know who loves rocks and stuff in the audience.
Kickstarter is, right, a research paper.
I mean, you could be a fantastic resource for people that are writing things like about a geology professor, for example. So don't discount it. It could be interesting. Yeah. So collaborating with somebody and doing like a tag team, that sounds like a recipe for either the best time ever, or if it were me, a fight. How was it? Did you enjoy the process?
Oh, it was delightful. I've been doing improv comedy for about 20 years. And so this felt a lot like that, because I didn't know what she was going to write, and I had to sort of take it and accept it and then build on it, which is the heart of doing improv work. So, and she is, I almost never have an outline, and she's very much an outline person. So we had a little bit of a, she had a spreadsheet that was like, after 7,000 words, this should have happened. And after 12,000 words, this should have happened. I was like, oh no, I don't think this way. But yeah, that was helpful for me actually to have her put structure on the thing. And then we had to agree to some major plot points. I did one thing that almost broke her. We had agreed that our two characters were going to meet each other while both on bad dates. And so we had that scene, and we had sort of planned that was going to be somewhere in the middle, and we got that. We were writing it chronologically, so we got to that point. And I was getting sort of frustrated because I knew they were supposed to be starting to like each other, because this is about halfway through the book, and they're supposed to be in love by the end, right? So on the line, you should. Anyway, so they had a nice conversation after they bailed on their two bad dates, and at the end, I had her kind of impulsively kiss him. And Sarah wrote back, I was like, no, this is way too early. You can't do that. They're supposed to hate each other for another bunch of chapters. And but she left it in, and then she made her character completely shut down and be embarrassed of having done that. And so it turned into like actually a big part of her character's sort of character and kind of damage and all of that she would take this. So that was fun. We had a lot of times where we would write something for the other person's character, and then she wrote the first chapter, and because this was enemies to lovers, she had to she set up that my character was a performative feminist, and one of those people that comes up and sort of kneels down next to you while you're sitting if he wants to talk to you, and then also that he wore those shoes with the toes. So I was like, and now I have to make this guy likable when he's, this blowhard kind of guy. So anyway, that was fun. I made my guy think of her as a mean girl and, sort of social striver and all that. But we got through that. But that was fun because we were giving each other sort of stuff to deal with the whole time. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. I think it probably helps if you're writing with somebody that's willing to actually collaborate with you, but I think I probably would be a control freak over it. I mean, this Kickstarter, for example, isn't necessarily a collaborative writing thing, but we are all sort of working towards the same goal of writing a story that will fit in with all these other stories. And I think they're all so different that it really works. Like, having read probably, 40% of the stories now, they're all so different There's like maybe one or two that are in similar sort of realms of fantasy, but man, it's just amazing to see what people have done with this brief of for anyone that doesn't know, the theme that we were given was rings, but we could take any interpretation of that word. So before I go on to talk about everybody in this room anyway, I'm pretending like I've got friends, everybody here, what their interpretation was, I will just say hi to everyone in the chat because I feel bad that I'm ignoring them. So hello, I think this is Melissa Stone. If it is, hello. If it's not, hello anyway. I'm trying to remember who everybody's usernames are, but I'm not very good at remembering things. We also have E.L. Montague. And we have the head honchos of the anthology. We have Ro Bushy and we have Mike Molman. And I nearly showed Sebastian's name on there, but he's here already. So I don't need to do that. Hello again from the chat. It's like chatception. So Dave, I'm going to go in reverse order now. What was your interpretation of the brief? Like when you were told it has to be rings, like what was the first thing that came to your mind and what did we end up with?
Yeah, well, I thought about a lot of different things. The first thing I thought of was sort of a magic ring, but I thought, well, that's been done by better people than me. And so I didn't think that would work. And then I thought of a summoning ring, where you could call forth creatures from different worlds. And so that was the thing I sort of settled on. And then I needed to think of a context in which that might happen. And so I created this character who was being forced to summon things for the war efforts of another group of people who were kind of had her captured and under their control. So that set up some tension and some reluctance, and then also used the ring, at least to start with. So that was where I went with it. And but I've been amazed at how many different things people have come up with. I thought ring would be fairly restrictive, but I think everyone's taken it in a different way, at least the ones that I've read, and really creatively.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think like I expected more people to go with literal rings.
Yeah.
And the ones that have gone with the literal version, the stories are also different. That it's not like reading the same story over and over again. I mean, Dave, your story I think is called, I've written it down, is it just called Bound?
Yes.
So you've packed like the richest world into so few words that I wonder, is this like at all part of an existing universe that you have?
No, I tried to put it together for this.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So I could write in it again, but I tend to like to do something new each time I go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I'll continue it, but I'm glad that it seemed like there was something going on there or some world building. But yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not a fantasy gal. I've made that very clear in the past. I will read fantasy, and when I enjoy it, bless you. When I enjoy it, I enjoy it, and it takes a lot for me to be able to pay attention for very long. So I do love a fantasy short story. Would you say that that's what the genre is that you worked in for this? That's what I would have picked, but I don't know.
Well, it's fantasy and then a little bit of sci-fi because they're invading other planets, and so yeah, I think it's sort of loosely defined fantasy, sci-fi, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was good. Imagine if I didn't. I'd be like, yep, that was a story. Well, thank you, Dave. So Sebastian, same question to you. So when you had the ring brief, what was the first thing that came to your mind and what did we end up with?
So when Mike came to me, he was like, well, like Mike and Ro are like my two angry uncles that are constantly hounding me to publish something.
Yeah.
So they came to me and they were like, look, this is a short story. It's easy. It'll be published. You don't have to worry about anything. Just write me something. I was like, all right. I went with literal rings. But the original dream that I had was about bracelets.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so I kind of I probably could have left it, but I figured more of like a wedding band type thing would be a little bit nicer. And my wife had gotten me one of those smart rings.
Oh, yeah.
where it reads all your vitals and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
So I figured, why not convert that into something that was more like held your memories. That way, your loved ones, you could share memories from your point of view, and a little bit more sci-fi dystopian type thing. And so I kind of perverted and twisted one of my dreams into kind of pretty much building the story that I came up with.
Mhm. Would you say that you weaved your dreams into the story that you came up with? See.
Yeah, it's I think one of the only parts that I changed was from the bracelet to an actual ring.
Mhm. So when you were, I don't know if there was a delay. If I talked to you over you, I'm very sorry. So when you were writing this particular story, it has got, I would say, a happy ending, but it's also very sad. You have a lot of grief, and I don't know. It feels like a rainy day, and then there's sunshine at the end. That's the best way I can describe your particular story. And you have a lot of layers, and I'm just curious if this if this was always the same story when you started to where we are now, or if you went on a different journey with it, because obviously you had that original bracelets idea, but start to finish, is it any different?
Not really. I had the last couple months before I finished it, I had a couple of people pass away that meant a lot to me.
I'm sorry.
And so I was writing from a place of, I guess, darkness, I guess. And I've never really wrote from that perspective, and I kind of wanted to give it a shot. And, when somebody has nothing else left to give, and they give themselves to protect someone else, is just kind of where I want to see if I can make a story kind of come together from that.
I'm sorry that.
So I just wrote.
There's a delay. I'm sorry. You carry on.
No, I was just saying. I wanted to write from my emotions and see how far that would take me.
Is that something that you tend to do with all of your work, or is it just this piece in particular? Oh my god, in particular.
No, I would say it's pretty much everything. So the kind of crazy part is like I have all these open projects, and I have all my scenes, mapped out of, what's going to be happening here and there, and I've had these points where like I'm just so over my day. Like everybody at work has just pissed me off, and I'm angry, and I'm just ready to choke a bitch out, right? And I'll take that and I'll funnel it into what somebody in those that POV would be feeling, and I feel like I write better coming from like that anger or that sorrow or the happiness or anything, because I can portray those feelings through my writing.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you have that as an outlet, because I think that's a useful tool that a lot of writers that I speak to have, is the ability to channel difficult to cope with feelings into something constructive that you can then share with other people. They can relate to it, and then they can use it as their own tool. It's a wonderful circle of life and sadness and reading fun times. Yeah, there is a nice comment from Mike that I'd like to share. You need to publish your work, apparently. I mean, thankfully, they're going to be doing this one. But I see them bullying you all the time, and I feel like you need to probably just listen to them. Otherwise, they're not going to shut up. They're just going to keep saying it. Okay. So, Katie, same question to you. I have to remember what the question is. The question is, when you first heard the brief of Rings, what was the first thing that came to your mind, and what did we end up with?
So I had kind of already had this story partially written before Ro came to me. So when he said ring, I'm like, oh, that's easy enough. I went with literal ring. It's a guiding ring, so it leads the character to what she's seeking, for better or for worse. So I wanted it to kind of have just a little bit of a magical feel to it, just because there's magic in this world, and she can kind of manipulate bones So I was like, oh, let's just make it. That seems really kind of cool. And so I went very literal with a magic ring.
So there is a slight delay with you. So if I'm talking over you, I'm so sorry. So with your particular story, so you said that you went very, very dark with this. Is any element of this particular story part of another world that you have? Because your story is very fantastical, even though it leans more towards the horror stuff.
Yeah, so actually this short story was inspired by a song, and I thought, oh, that'll be fun. And I had wanted to write a standalone in this kind of similar world. But with all the projects I need to accomplish, I was like, let's do something small so we can at least get that itch scratched. And just kind of see, like, does this world work? Does some of the magic work? Does the culture I'm putting in this world work? And then I'd like to build out of this world. So in my mind, this short story is kind of like a cautionary tale in the larger world that it exists in. So it kind of ties back in to the other story I would like to eventually write in this world. So nautical fantasy is not something I've done before, but it just so happened the last like half year to a year I've been really kind of getting into sea shanties a lot, and I've been reading a lot of nautical fantasy. So it's like, oh, that'd be fun. My dream as an author is just to kind of multi-class, is just do like as many subgenres as fantasy as I can, get into some sci-fi, have some sci-fi pieces on the side. So this is just always a fun time to see what can we write.
Awesome. Now, did you say that this story was inspired by a song? Oh, you're okay, cool. The audio didn't catch up for a second. I was like, oh no, you're good. You. Okay, cool.
I can feel the delay. Yeah.
I'd like to know which song.
That might spoil it, but I did talk about this in my chat last night, but I will say the artist, it's called Sail North. They've got just some very moody, atmospheric music. So some people have guessed the song, and I give them bonus points because the song kind of sums up what the story is. So I'll let people kind of find it, but the band is called Sail North. And they have a really good song on there. I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for a story. So just kind of following some of the similar beats without totally copying the song.
Awesome. Well, after this, I'd like you to tell me, because I've already read it. So I won't make you say it on the live. So for those of you who are watching the recorded version of this, or if you were joining us and you're not part of the list of authors that are contributing to the anthology, because that's what majority of the people are in the chat at the moment. For those of you who aren't aware of what this thing is, this is an anthology with over 30. Is it over 30 now? Or is it over 50?
I think it's 34.
34.
That's a lot of stories. So there's over 34 authors contributing to this anthology. The overarching theme is rings. It's called Rings of Adventure. There is a QR code over there if you'd like to go and subscribe to, or follow to rather, the Kickstarter. It goes live on September 1st. Come and support us, because we'd really like that. And I won't haunt you, but I will haunt you if you don't. So, and it doesn't cost anything to share stuff. So you could also do that if you can't contribute to the Kickstarter itself. One of the cool things with this anthology, in my opinion anyway, is every story has a unique piece of artwork to go alongside it. And if you guys are happy for me to, I'd love to share the artwork that you guys have for your stories.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to start with the first one that's on my list. So this is Dave's. Now, Dave, could you tell us who your artist was and what was the concept? Because this is stunning.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he did a great job. The artist's name is Jesus da Silva, and I found him on Fiverr. He's been on there for, 5 or 10 years doing really cool art projects. And so I thought his style looked great, and I knew that the guy that a lot of people were using was getting backed up with all of the demands, Mike's artist, and Dimitri. And so I thought I'd try to get it done this way. And you can see her there, and then the summoning ring behind her. And I had actually made a little 3D mock-up of how I thought I had imagined that would work, because it's present in a couple of scenes and it has these crystals at the top of the prong. So I was able to give him that. It's just like a wireframe 3D rendering thing of it. But yeah, and then he did that. He had it kind of all Taj Mahalish and looking super ornate, and it's supposed to be a temporary structure that they build on this world they're trying to invade. So I asked for a revision there, and she was wearing, I think, fewer layers, let's say, when he first drew her. So I was like, no, I didn't want it to be like that. So he got her a little more covered up. So yeah, that was a really cool process to go through and kind of iterate it and to get it to match what I had imagined. So and then I had there's a point later on in the story. She's an alien race. But I wanted her to be able to pass for a human. Some of the other aliens in the book would not pass for regular humans, but she ends up in a place where she might. So anyway, but so that was part of it too. And he did the creativity with the bracelets and the ponytail and all that other stuff. So I thought that was very, very cool.
Kind of reminds me of Fifth Element, but she doesn't look anything like any of the characters from the Fifth Element. It just same vibes.
It's that sort of visual style. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Awesome. Thank you. We have a couple more very, very beautiful pieces of artwork to look at. What? Say again, sorry?
I was saying multipass.
Yes, exactly. I was trying to convince my husband to watch The Fifth Element for the longest time, and he was like, yeah, okay. And then we finally watched it, and he's now a believer, thankfully. It's just such a good film.
Yeah.
So the next one on my list is Sebastian's. Could you tell us what's going on here and who was your artist?
So I did end up using Dimitri. I had actually made some of my own art, but nobody liked it. It was way too little. I did a bunch of I clipped a bunch of stuff together, and I probably worked about 9 or 11 hours on making it. Between Canva and Procreate, and everybody was like, this does not look good, and I was like, all right. So they thought it looked like too realistic, and I guess nowadays too realistic looks AI.
It can sometimes look a bit creepy as well. I've not seen it, just saying. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
That's one of the tiers. Once they unlock it, they get to see Sebastian's original art.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. But yeah, so I had Dimitri do this for me, and you got your scruffy fella there, and he's there to pretty much try to. I don't know. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, you don't need to give it away. It's a pinnacle point of the story. But
yeah, it is.
It could mean anything.
I actually made a video of it. Could I show it?
I mean, yeah, if it'll show up. Let me change the screen. Hang on. Nope, that's worse.
So
One second. Hang on. I don't know how to use this thing. Can I make it so that it's just you? I don't know. Hang on. I'm going to make us disappear, and then you can be on the screen. 1 second.
Okay. I don't know how I like that. That's good enough. Let me see. So that's the video that I made for it.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's very cool.
I'm learning how to use this friggin' program we're in. How was it before? Oh, no, that's worse. Hang on. Forget it. We've seen the image. It's beautiful. Well done. Sorry about that. So when you were working with Dimitri, were there many passes that you had to make, or did he pretty much get it on the first try? How long did it take you to work with him?
He got it pretty much on the first try. It was a little bit darker, and I asked him to put in a couple of highlights here and there, especially for her hair and his jacket to kind of show the city lights and whatnot. Yeah. But other than that, Yeah, he nailed it on the first go. But I did send him the part of my story where this scene was. I gave him a lot more character description for it, and he really nailed it.
Awesome. I'm really interested to see how this works in print, because I work in printing now, and when you look at something on a screen and then see it printed off, it looks totally different. So I'm really, really curious to see, in fact, all of the artwork, like how it translates to the page. I'm not sure. Is it going to be in color? I think
Yeah.
so.
The
Yeah.
paperback, I think, is going to be color printed.
Let's go to the comments.
Well, yeah. If it's not in color, then I'm going to let Ro and Mike confirm that. But I'm pretty sure it's in color. So last but not least, we have this stunner that I would love to have on my wall. Actually, that's really cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so this was Dimitri as well. Really easy to work with. It's probably the quickest turnaround for art I've gotten. I had done a poorly drawn sketch for him, and the only thing that really needed to change was kind of the figurehead area of the front of the ship. He had done more of a human skull, so I was like, actually it's more sinister looking than that. So this is one of the ships that appears in the story. And there's a solar eclipse, it's solar eclipse, I think. I don't know my astrological phenomenons, but I had added that in last. I was like, what's another fun horror element or creepy element we could add into this? I'm like, let's do an eclipse.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
so creepy.
Dimitri knocked it out of the park with the colors I was thinking of. I kind of wanted a little bit golden, a little bit red, so it's just a little spooky.
It's super moody. I really like it. It definitely captures the mood of the story really well. Yeah, it's been really fun to see what everybody's been doing with that artwork, and I've got to say, I think Dimitri's artwork is probably going to make up about 60 to 80% of the artwork in this book. So we've already seen the caliber, and Jesus is awesome as well. And there's people like me that was decided to scribble on a page.
I like yours. Yours is super cool, and I think it fits the vibe of the story.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was one of those things where I was like, nope, I'm going to draw it myself. We've just had Ellen Holmes just join us as well, who is also a contributing author to the anthology. So, people are going to get a lot for their money, I will say, for backing this Kickstarter. They will be getting a story every single day into their inbox, the email inbox, not their post box, because that'd be creepy, from each of the stories in the anthology for every day of December. And those who, I don't know what tier it is because I can't remember that amount of detail. I'm sure Ro can put it in the comments if he'd like to. But once you get to a certain tier, then we will be able to get a really beautiful hardcover printed with all of this awesome artwork inside. And I'm sure it's going to have all sorts of fancy spangly things on it. And the cover's really cool. So there's also that. I think we have do we have an audiobook tier as well?
There's an audiobook tier that we do not have to do ourselves,
which is fab. Big fan of that. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to start saving egg boxes so that I could make a little sound booth in my house. In this economy, honestly. Great. And we also have, there's people who have contributed stories that are science fiction, fantasy, horror. We have a little bit of romance, not a lot of romance, but there's a little bit sprinkled in there. So there's a little bit of hope within these pages as well. So, I think it's such a fantastic collection of things that people could have. And I believe the hardcover is going to be Kickstarter exclusive. So if you want a copy of it, you're going to have to back the Kickstarter. So as I said, there's a QR code over there. I don't know if that's where it is, if you can see that on your screen. It's over there. Thank you, everybody. Point. Thank you. Thank you. There should be a link in the description of this episode as well. This has been very exciting to hear about your stories. And I have read all of them. And I will say they are very good. Mine's all right as well, but it's mostly for these guys. So before I let you all go, I'd like you each to tell our listeners, our watchers, our lurkers, one reason why they should back this Kickstarter. I'm going to start with you, Katie.
Um, so for me, I think it's just a really good way to sample indie excellence in a really compact, easy, handed to you way, instead of having to kind of go and hunt down indie authors and read full length things. You can get a sample of 34 great authors, both who are, seasoned authors and brand new authors. So that's the best part about anthologies, and especially for self-published and indie. So that's the main reason, just get to support indie authors.
Amazing. I think that's as good a reason as any. But let's get some more. Sebastian, can you give the people one reason why they should back this Kickstarter from September 1st?
Oh yeah, it's super cost effective for the economy that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's a good point. You get.
I mean, if you're a true reader, like Katie said, I mean, if you're a true reader, you want to find, as many people as you possibly, find to read their stuff, and sampling an anthology and figuring out what stories you like, what you don't, and then going to all the respected social medias to see what else they have out there is really the best bang for your buck.
It's a great point. It's like wandering around the supermarket and trying all the little snacks. Except you will want to read more of the other people's things. You won't just go around for another round of snacks. Maybe that was a terrible example. Dave, could you give the people one?
Yeah, well, I think a couple things. One is that it has that sort of magical holiday calendar thing where you open a new little door each day and see what's in there. And I've had those that were little Lego sets and chocolates and that kind of thing. But I was actually reminded of when I was a kid, my grandmother used to send every holiday season at the end of the year, kind of like this is a big box of C's candies. I don't know if you know those, and they were assorted. And of course, some of them wouldn't be to my taste, and we had to sort them out to the family. But eventually, I realized that my absolute favorite kind of candy was these things called butterscotch squares. And then my grandmother, being awesome like she was, after a couple of years, she started sending one box of assorted and then one box that was only butterscotch squares, so that I could have those whenever I wanted. And so this anthology could be kind of like that for you. You could get the kind of rich, diverse experience first, and then figure out what it is you want to eat a whole bunch of, and go for that. So that was my tortured metaphor that I came up with. So.
I thought that was great. I enjoyed it. I like most chocolate-based things, so that was great. And now I'm curious about these delicious squares of buttery goodness. So the other thing about getting these stories in December is that you don't have to wait for the books to be printed. So what you can do is you can read all the stories at any pace that you'd like, and then you can keep the lovely, pretty book pristine on your shelf if that's something that you care about. Or if you're evil like me, you can crack the spine when it arrives in the post. Please don't kill me for saying that. Anyway, this was lovely. It was lovely to get to know you all. I think it's the first time you've all been on the show, and I'm really grateful that you all arrived today. Thank you for sharing things about your stories. And where can people, I'm going to go around the room again, because otherwise you all start talking at the same time. I'm going to ask you where people can find you and your work. I don't mean your home address. I mean like online and stuff. So Katie, where can people find you and your work?
So I'm on most social medias under K.E. Andrews, or a variation like K.E. Andrews Novels or author. Instagram is usually my best place to follow me at. Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook. Most of my books are pretty much wide. I only have one book that's ebook exclusive to Amazon, but all the ebooks are wide. If you're in the States, you can order books directly from my Etsy shop. Otherwise, they can be found wherever books are sold.
Sweet, thank you. And Sebastian, I know that this is going to be the first thing that you're publishing, but where can people find you to follow your journey as a writer?
Primarily, I use Facebook, Instagram, and I'm very heavily into TikTok. That's where my biggest audience is, and that's where I'll probably post everything first to see how well it generates, and then it'll, bleed over to Facebook and Instagram.
Great, thank you. And Dave?
My website is davedobsonbooks.com, so that's where you can see all my stuff. I'm pretty active most active on Facebook because I'm the oldest one of us here, and that's what old people do. But I'm also on Blue Sky and all the others as well, if you want to try to find me. And yeah, I just want to say this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for setting it up.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a little bit selfish, really, because I just like finding out about people and what they do and stuff. So, yeah, thank you to everyone that joined us today, whether you're live or whether you're watching the recording. I appreciate you. As I said earlier, QR code's over there. If you have something to scan it with, the link should be down there. And if it's not right now, it will be within seconds of this ending, because sometimes I forget to put them there and I'm convinced that I've done it, but I may not have done. So you can go and back this Kickstarter from September 1st. Just go and do it. And if you can't afford to do something like that, because I know that things are tough at the moment for everybody, please just share any posts that you see that are advertising this Kickstarter, or share it to anybody that you think might like it. So yeah, I'm going to say goodbye now. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rambling and saying the same thing over and over again. You look like you want to say something, Sebastian.
Yeah. Anybody that's in the comments that isn't already following, liked, or subscribed, you need to.
Thank you. That's helpful. Yes, thank you. I do forget to say that because it feels cringy. It's like, I call them charity muggers, but you know, the people that stand outside of a supermarket and they're like, oh, do you want to sign up? No, I don't want to sign up to it. Shh, no. But yes, please do subscribe. Anyway, I'm going to go. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you later.
Right.